Welcome to the Pope of the Goat podcast, where Pope from the band Year of the Goat deals with whatever gets stuck in his pretty little head.
The Pope of the Goat podcast.
I'm to get it, got to get it, I'm to get it.
So what if I'm offended?
That Salman Rushdie has been attacked. I have a dream. Looks to be a city under terror attack.
The Pope of the Goat podcast.
Hello, my lovelies. Good to be back for another go in our little Sunday school. Today, I will read from and comment on the book of Genesis again. But this time, it appears like the animals were not created before man on the third day, and that they were created on the third day. It has ruined my week. I've been trying oh so hard to reconcile this logical impossibility, and cannot seem to recognize it as anything but not only a logical contradiction, but also a biblical contradiction. The animals cannot be created and not be created on the same day. No biggie, we got it all sorted out. At first, the universe was created by the gods, and they made a man in their image. Then the petty volcano god Yahweh thought, I need to have some stuff of my own, so he built a garden and made his own clones, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Or was it? Back to the contradictions. I'm getting ahead of myself. There were some other things, but if we were to count every little contradiction, we would have our hands full already, I guess. If I remember correctly, Genesis 3 is where we get the whole snake business. Eating from the fruit and the fall of man, the whole reason for needing to torture and kill Jesus as a blood sacrifice on Easter. That's a non sequitur. People are bad. Let's kill this guy who's not bad. It will make everybody else better. So, anyways, thanks for stopping by. Please comment, like, and subscribe on the YouTube page so I get to hear your thoughts. This pod is presented by you. Let me know if you think I'm wrong and why. So, let's boogie and read the Bible. Let's read the Bible. Oh, yes, let's read together. God's holy word for us, feeble humans. Not much of a boogie, but let's just read the damn thing. The temptation and fall of man. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. Okay, it's pretty clear that the serpent here is not Satan. It's just a talking snake. I understand it that quite a few Christians think the snake is Satan. If I'm not misremembering, that is a rather new idea, not part of any early Christian tradition, and not at all part of any Jewish tradition. Yeah, you know, the Old Testament, it's Jewish, right? Of course you do. You're a quality audience. Genesis 3:1 clearly states that the serpent is a beast of the field, created by God and more cunning than any of the other beasts in the field. You got it? Beast, cunning, God created, not Satan. And he said to the woman, Has God indeed said, You shall not eat of every tree in the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. We're closing in on the Chekhov's gun part we talked about last week. So, God repeated this info to the woman as well. Thank God, since he mentioned it to the man before making the woman from the man's rib. I saw a lovely meme the other day. The point of it was wonderful. Wunderbar. Since God made Eve from Adam's rib, the genetic information and chromosomes for that clone would have been male. So it was Adam and Steve after all. That is just fabulous. Then the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When I grew up, I heard people saying it was the tree of knowledge. I thought this for the longest time until I read the story. The knowledge of good and evil. That is a completely different ball game altogether. Why didn't God want man to know right from wrong, good from bad, and awesome from terrible, and so on and so forth? Why? Is that some sort of sadistic inclination on God's behalf? Man and woman would hurt each other terribly and do despicable things in the garden without knowing it wasn't good. And God could watch the whole thing as entertainment on his day of rest, like some reality show on TV. Is that why God didn't want man and woman to know good from evil? If you know this story, you will know who is the most truthful in it, and who is the liar. If not, let this be a cliffhanger. Woohoo! Spooky. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Wow, she was really hard to convince. The snake just went, of course you will not die. Okay, I'll eat it. I'll have my husband eat it as well. Okay. Husband? They got married in secret? Or was it simply a match made in heaven? When did they get married? Why wasn't I invited? As a frequent Bible reader, I feel like I've been neglected here. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. So the knowledge of good and evil makes you understand that you're naked while completely alone with your spouse, and that is evil somehow. If any kids are listening, don't. I got quite a potty mouth on me. But if you are anyway, it is quite all right to be naked alone with your spouse. Don't let a book suspiciously judgmental of and preoccupied with nudity and genitalia teach you how to live your life. Hell, get naked and have fun when you two are a consenting adult. Maybe kids shouldn't be listening to this. Or maybe they should. What do you think? Go to the Pope of the Goat on YouTube and let me know. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees of the garden. It sure sounds like God is bipedal. Walking in the garden on earth somewhere in Iraq. Just saying. There is a lot of talk about God being outside of space and time. Obviously, he's not in this Bible verse. Does he leave any tracks? And if you're not so book smart, bipedal doesn't mean that he's having sex with the bicycles. It means he's walking on two legs. God is also in time, because one moment he wasn't there and the next he's walking. That is one sure sign of being temporal. Temporal doesn't mean that he's a batter for a Japanese deep fry. It means he's in time. Then the Lord God called to Adam and said to him, "Where are you? Where are you?" Not much of an all-knowing entity. Maybe it was rhetorical. Where are you? Or something like that. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Scooby Doo! I have no idea what God meant, if he's all-knowing. What about all the omnis? Omnipotent, omnibenevolent, omni-annoyed in the garden. Where the fuck are you? Where are you, Adam? Come out! I can't find you. Somebody needs his coffee. Talk to you again real soon. So, coffee. Excellent. So he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself." Yeah, naked and afraid. That's how I prefer to spend my weekends. Adam was lying. He said he was naked, but he wasn't. He was wearing a bloody fig leaf. God was drunk when he inspired this text. It was only 3 short verses ago, and you already forgot. It sounds a lot longer with me rambling on, but if you were to read it yourself, it would be about 30 seconds between the verses. Either God or the inspired Bible writers has a rather short attention span. I'm amazed this has survived through the ages. It must be because it's God's holy word. One might think. I believe it's because a sucker is born every day. That's how these things survive. And he said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" Sorry for interrupting again. Here goes again with all the questions. Dear God, it will be very hard for you to convince me that you're an all-knowing entity if you're gonna keep acting surprised and all not knowing. If God is all-knowing and knew this would happen and set it up that way, he's the biggest douche. Check it out. You have 2 Homo sapiens who don't even know right from wrong. You command them not to eat a certain fruit, and you expect them to know that it is wrong to eat the fruit. The perfect being sounds more and more distant, and we're only at the 3rd chapter so far. Sorry, God, but you are not perfect, and apparently you're not much of a parent. And apparently, they didn't die from eating the fruit. The serpent was right. So far, the only one lying has been Adam and, you guessed it, Jehovah. What the holy fuck was that? Then the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." Oh yeah, big strong man. Blame weak woman and God who made bad woman. Fucking troglodyte. Take some responsibility for your own actions, you piece of shit. I got a bit riled up there. She made me do it. And the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" Yeah, he's as dumb as a doornail as well. He should have taught the man to take responsibility, then addressed the woman. Add that to the Bible, and it would be a slightly better book instantly. Sometimes people say the Bible is full of ancient wisdom. Passages like this make me realize it's full of a whole lot of ancient stupidity as well. The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Are you sure they know good from bad? I think it's pretty bad to be blaming others and not taking responsibility. So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle." When did you curse the cattle? And why? They're super cute. What's up with this cursing? "And more than every beast of the field, on your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life." Now, that didn't happen. Snakes don't eat dust. Okay, it might be that particular serpent who got to eat dust for the rest of its days. What about Satan? Is he moving along on his belly, eating dust? In the book of Job, Satan is walking on his feet. So the serpent doesn't seem to be Satan, does he? This is literally a fable with talking animals. Typically, a fable is meant to convey some sort of moral point. I'm not sure what moral this story is conveying. Maybe it's don't expect people with no knowledge whatsoever about right and wrong doing the right thing. Could that be it? "And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." Maybe the morals is that whenever you are the cause of a problem or a bad situation, don't punish your victims. That could be it. Without that understanding, these verses are really poison to the mind. To the woman he said, "I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." Here's an ad hoc explanation why giving birth is so painful. The theory of evolution can probably give a different, better explanation that doesn't require all this misogynist shenanigans. As hominins was evolving, a bigger brain was more useful when searching for food in a varying climate. Big brains and the ability to think out clever ways to survive when food was hard to come by. This made it so the individuals who had bigger brains survived long enough to procreate. But apparently, some with smaller brains also survived. This big head of ours makes giving birth tougher, but the agricultural societies a couple of 1,000 years ago didn't know about this and tried to make sense of the world and failed miserably. Your intuition is never better than what you feed it. Stay in school, kids. And then there's the part about the woman's desire for her husband and that he shall rule over her. This is obviously written by insecure men. Misogynist bullshit. If you believe this is good, you need to have your head examined. Then to Adam he said, "Because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life." This might be the first time the Bible uses the name Adam. And again, God's such a douche.
"I'm going to punish you for listening to your wife. I hope you have learned not to listen to women ever again."
Is that the moral of the fable? Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Oh my, anger manage much, do you? Dear God, you only look foolish here. You set up this whole situation, and if you're all-knowing, you should have known exactly what was going to happen. It would have all been part of your plan. How could we ever believe in this charade you're doing here? Acting all surprised and angry. You just love to punish and curse, don't you? Just like atheists only want to sin. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Now that's nice. Give her a name. Also for Adam and his wife, the Lord God made tunics of skin and clothed them. Oh, thank goodness, God calmed himself down. Realized there wasn't going to be any reality show with two naked people in the garden. Might as well clothe them. I can feel his disappointment. Then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us. Now that spells out polytheism, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. Curious. Only a few verses ago, God told Adam he would be dust again. I thought that was his punishment, to become mortal. So he was mortal all the time? God intentionally made things with an expiration date? I'm pretty sure I've heard people talk about the fall of man being what brought death into the world. I might, of course, be mistaken. Have you heard this too? Let me know on the YouTube version of this episode. Please comment if you know what I'm talking about. Therefore, the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. So God made him a farmer? What if he wanted to be a hunter-gatherer? Many people before Adam have chosen that path. Oh, you think Adam was the first human? Well, then he definitely wasn't a farmer. Humans didn't start farming for roughly 240,000 years, if my memory serves me right. So he drove out the man, and he placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. Oh God, you're such a drama queen. A flaming sword which turned every way? What does that even look like? Every way would make it spherical, like a ball. A great ball of fire. Goodness gracious. But maybe there were less ways that things could point back then. Maybe they just had left, right, up, down, forward, and backwards. Backwards, I'm pretty sure they had backwards. This whole story sounds extremely backwards. It's almost as if it was made up by illiterate peasants in the Bronze Age. What will happen to Adam and Eve? We all know the clone is male and is named Steve or Stephen, but we'll go with Eve. How will they manage after being kicked out of Eden? And what about God? His all-knowingness has really taken a lot of damage in these first 3 chapters. This and more, I am sure, will be revealed in the next episode of the Pope of the Goat podcast. Please be so kind to like, subscribe, and rate the show wherever it's possible. You can help me reach out with this gospel of the Biosphere project to the world. See you later. Cheers.
Goat podcast.